Hello, this is Ollie's Movie Madness, and I'm going to be doing a movie review of Robin Hood 2018. This film is terrible because it's boring and it has really unlikable characters. But let's just get into it right now, starting off with the storyline, which the storyline I don't really give a shit about. I really don't. It all it is that it revolves around Robin Hood, stealing money from the rich to give to the poor, much like other adaptations of this character. He wants to win Marion back, and he has to take down the corrupt sheriff of Nottingham, and that's it. That is the storyline, and it's not interesting. But the acting in this movie is so bad. I will say the least terrible performance was from Taron Egerton. He was actually decent as Robin Hood, but the character of Robin Hood is so unlikable. He kills people. He's just very snarky, very arrogant, and they try and make him like the Punisher, and it does not work at all. Because the Punisher can kill because he's a rated R character. He's not family friendly. Well, Robin Hood doesn't kill as much as the Punisher in other interpretations. Some interpretations have Robin Hood kill, but it's actually passable in those interpretations of the character. But this one, it's really dumb. There's a scene where he gets stabbed with an arrow. He gets stabbed in the chest, and it's supposed to be this dramatic moment, but it just comes off really filler and really not interesting. It's one of the most boring scenes of the entire film. Jamie Foxx is really boring as Little John. The accent he puts on is really terrible. And what's really disappointing is that Jamie Foxx is a great actor, but in this movie, he's just really boring. The character Lil Jon is just there to be captured. That's all he is. He's just Robin Hood's best friend and mentor. There's a scene where Lil Jon watches his son get captured, and you're supposed to feel bad for him, but to be honest, I felt more bad for Magneto in X-Men First Class, where he had to watch his mother be killed by Sebastian Shaw in the concentration camp, because that scene was a lot more impactful than the scene where Lil Jon watches his son be brutally killed by the sheriff. It just didn't make any sense. And the chemistry between Jamie Foxx and Joel Edgerton, at times they had good chemistry as actors, but then there'll be times where it kind of fell apart. The actress who plays Marion is just bland. She's just there to be the love interest. And Marion, as a character, doesn't really go anywhere. She's just there to be the love interest. There's a scene where her and Robin Hood argue. It's supposed to be funny, but it really comes off as really dumb and really boring. But easily, the worst actor in this entire movie. And sadly, this is a great actor, and he's a really great villain actor, but sadly, he's awful in this film, and that is Ben Mendelsohn as the Sheriff of Nottingham. Oh dear, this performance was annoying, because all Ben Mendelsohn does is just yell. He's just there in the movie to play this corrupt politician, and there are several scenes where Ben Mendelsohn is just screaming at the top of his lungs, and it's supposed to be serious, but it's not even funny bad. Like, it's not like in Brave New World where the leader screams at the top of his lungs because he's crazy. Like, in Brave New World, it's funny because it's unintentionally funny, and you can laugh at Tim Blake Nelson's performance, but with Ben Mendelsohn in this movie, you really can't laugh at him. And sadly, Ben Mendelsohn's a tremendous actor. I liked him in Ready Player One. I liked him in Cyrano. He played a great villain in that movie, and the villain can actually sing. He had a great villain song, and his motivations were really interesting. But the Sheriff of Nottingham is just annoying. He's just Kylo Ren for this film because both of them just throw a fit. They just yell their heads off. They just scream a lot. And that is all the Sheriff of Nottingham does in this movie. And when he dies, it's not that satisfying. He gets hung by a rope and dies. That was not interesting. The action sequences, they just felt like Zack Snyder because they shot in like slow motion and it does not work. Like, yes, in the MCU they do shoot some stuff in slow motion, but the difference being that the MCU does it way better. Well, this film just does it really badly. And not to mention, the final battle, it is so bad that it's just unwatchable. And when I was watching this movie, my mind didn't go to this movie. It literally went to the Great Wall and King Arthur Legend of the Sword. Legend of the Sword. The difference being that the Great Wall and King Arthur Legend of the Sword were entertaining movies. They were fun but flawed. And Jude Law was way better as Vulgarian in King Arthur. Because when Jude Law screams at the top of his lungs, it was hysterical. It was really funny. And Jude Law was just a much more entertaining villain than Ben Mendelsohn was in this film. The directing is whatever. It's just boring stuff. I don't know what the director was trying to do. He'll try to make this like Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is another movie I don't really care for. But in conclusion, I really hated this film. The storyline was boring. The performances were really bad. Ben Mendelsohn has bite out the worst thing in this movie. Sadly, I love Ben Mendelsohn, but in this one, this is his worst performance. Yes, I think I hate it more than his performance in the MCU because him as Talos was more boring bad. This was just annoying bad. Because in the MCU, I can always say Mendelsohn was somewhat trying the MCU. They just gave him a boring character. They clearly didn't really give a shit about this actor. They just placed him as the villain. Again, if you want to watch him play a better villain, watch him in Ready Player One as Nolan Sorrento. The jokes are not funny. There are several scenes where the sheriff annoying him and just screaming at the top of his lungs, and it's annoying. The action sequences suck. The ending sucks. And this movie tried to set up a sequel, and judging how it ends, it failed because the movie flopped really hard. So I say just skip this movie. Go watch The Great Wall. Go watch Ready Player One. Because that film has a way better storyline and way better acting. The jokes are funny. Ben Mendelsohn played a much better villain. So I say just skip this movie and just go watch Ready Player One, as I already mentioned. So I give this film a 1 out of 10. It is one of the worst films of 2018. So that is my movie review of Robin Hood 2018. Hope you guys enjoyed.